Today we will tackle the poem Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda is the pen name. Pen name, you understand? The names taken by author when they create a work of art. Alright? So, for example, Mark Twain. You must have heard of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, written by Mark Twain. Mark Twain was his pen name. His real name was Samuel Clemens. Okay? And similarly, there are you will find authors in British literature, in English literature, and even in Indian literature where they adopt a different name and they create a work of art. So Pablo Neruda is the pen name of Neftali Ricardo Reyes Basalto, who was born in the town of Parral in Chile. Chile is a Latin American country. Neruda's poems are full of easily understood images which make them no less beautiful. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1971. In this poem, Neruda talks about the necessity of keeping quiet, introspection, and creating a feeling of mutual understanding among human beings. So that is the gist of this particular poem. Alright, and see, before we read, I want you to introspect on the title of the poem called Keeping Quiet. Children, there are certain keywords in this poem. First and foremost is introspection. Number 2, meditation. Alright, introspection, meditation. And number 3, mutual harmony and understanding among mankind. Okay, so let's start and be very attentive with the explanation. The poet is addressing all humanity. Though he is a Latin American poet, and this poet was also a political figure, it is assumed that he is not just addressing the people of Chile, his hometown. He is addressing the entire mankind. Alright? And look at the way he uses the pronoun we in the first line of the poem, because he considers himself as one with the audience. He's saying that he is as much in need of peace as his the world today. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. It would be an exotic moment. Without rush, without engines, we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now, I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. This was the recitation of the poem which I wanted you to listen. Now we will start with line by line explanation. Okay, as I said, the main gist of the poem is the necessity for introspection, the necessity for keeping quiet, because basically what happens when you keep quiet, the silence opens you to truths to which you were otherwise unaware. Alright? So let's begin the explanation. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. Counting to 12. 12 is just an arbitrary number, any number. At the same time, you can assume that 12 implies the number of hours on the clock. Okay, so counting to 12 means spanning all the 12 hours of the day. Now we will count to 12. It is a technique to quieten the human mind and to induce a state of introspection. And we will all keep still. Still here means quiet. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Children, very important. Language is divisive. Divisive means it divides, it does not unite. Why? Because you take an example of your own class, for example, in class 12, your classmates would all be speaking perhaps different dialects of the same language. Okay, and if there are children belonging to other states, because India is a linguistically diverse country, then your language may be different from mine. For example, my mother tongue is Malayalam, your mother tongue is Hindi. So language is divisive. Therefore, the poet is saying, let's not speak in any language. Because you know what is the unifying language in this poem? Silence. Silence is the unifying language. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Face of the earth here means the globe, the entire world. Because just imagine if in India itself there are so many languages, in the entire world how many languages there would be, and as many languages there are, as many divisions. So the poet wants to dissolve the languages which act as barriers and just develop on the one inner language of silence. Let's stop for 1 second. Now you may ask me, ma'am, what do we stop? So write it down. Very, very important. Stop all meaningless and futile activities which are harming mankind. Okay, and right in the next stanza, the poet has given examples of the activities which he wants to be stopped. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. Underline, moving our arms is symbolic again of useless activities. We are always busy doing nothing. Why have we worked ourselves into such a busy schedule that does not even give us time to breathe? Most of the times, the poet is saying that man is wasting himself in useless, hectic activities. Okay, now in the next stanza, he says, it would be an exotic moment. What would be an exotic moment? That moment of silence when mankind would stop all useless activities. It would be an exotic moment. As I said, what would be an exotic moment? That moment when the entire mankind all over the world practices the religion of silence, the religion of introspection. Without rush, without engines. Now underline, rush and engines are symbols of civilization. A civilization that has forced man into a rat race. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Now this is part of the exotic moment. It would be an exotic moment when we would all be together. Underline we in this third line of the third stanza. Who is this we? We is all mankind. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Now these are two words. Sudden because the moment would descend upon us suddenly, and strangeness because we are not very familiar with this moment. We are very unfamiliar because mankind does not usually practice silence or introspection. Keeping quiet does not feature in one of the common habits of man, says Pablo Neruda. So we would be together in a sudden strangeness. We would be together in a sudden strangeness. Now, look at this activity. Look at this sentence in the second stanza. Let us stop for 1 second. Okay. So, what is the meaning of stop for 1 second? What does the poet want to stop? The meaningless activities such as fishermen in the cold sea would not harm the whales. Okay, harming the whales means overfishing. All right, overfishing is definitely not commendable. Why? Because mankind is exhausting the marine resources. Fine. So, fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. Number two, the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Children, salt gathering is a very, very prolonged, at the same time, painful process. Often, the employees who are recruited for this work, they get their hands all injured, and then on top of the injury, the salt works as a further addition to the pain. Alright, so the man, and still they do not stop, says Pablo Neruda. Still, the man gathering salt does not stop because he has a target to meet. This act, says Neruda, should be stopped. This act wherein man harms himself. And this man gathering salt is symbolic because human beings are engaged in so many activities which may be self-destructive. And because man is not introspecting, we do not realize that sometimes we are engaged in life-threatening activities. So, fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. When would these two actions happen? When we keep quiet. It would be an exotic moment if mankind adopts the language of silence. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire. Children, green war is war against environment. Please jot it down. Green war. You may get this for reference to context. Green war is war against environment. And wars with gas, wars with fire is nothing but this hydrogen, the atomic bombs, the arms and munitions, the guns, the tanks which the warring countries use against each other. Pablo Neruda is saying that if mankind adopts silence, those people who prepare the green wars, or those people who prepare the wars with gas, wars with fire, would realize that war is nothing but a victory with no survivors. You understand the meaning of this line? This is very important. Victory with no survivors. What does that mean? Yes, undoubtedly, in a war, one of the two countries wins. Alright? But in the winning side, there may not be any survivors left. There is no one to celebrate that victory. So why should mankind indulge in war at all? Is the question raised by Pablo Neruda in this particular poem. So those who prepare green wars, those who indulge in war, would put on clean clothes. Underline clean clothes. Abandon violence. Abandon, you understand? To leave, to forsake. Okay, they will leave violence forever. That's the meaning of clean. Clean here is a metaphorical word. It does not mean as in clean as in free from dirt, but clean here means free from violence. And walk about with their brothers. Brothers here underline all humanity. In the shade doing nothing. In the shade also here, the shade of the tree here is symbolic not of so much tree, not of the shade of the tree, but in the shade of non-violence, peace and serenity. Please jot this down because this entire stanza is, every line has a double intended meaning which you have to understand in order to understand this poem thoroughly. Doing nothing. Underline this. Here, nothing is a positive act. Now listen to me very carefully. In our usual conversation, nothing means you are wasting your time. Why are you doing nothing? Nothing means you have to do something. But in this, within the context of Pablo Neruda's poem, nothing assumes a great significance. Because nothing means mankind has left, or let me say man has left doing anything which is harmful for him. And he is doing nothing. Doing nothing means indulging in the positive act of introspection. Doing nothing means indulging or adopting the positive language of silence. Doing nothing means man has given up harmful activities like overfishing or gathering salt, which is hurting his hands, or performing in war activities. That is the meaning of doing nothing. That means mankind has abandoned all these negative, destructive acts. I hope I am clear. Okay. Now, the previous stanza ended with the positive significance of nothing. Doing nothing means man has adopted a positive outlook towards life. But as I said, in our usual conversation, nothing means being idle, being lazy. So, in this next stanza that I'm going to explain, Neruda is giving a clarification that what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. He's saying that I am asking you to do nothing. That does not mean that don't perform any actions at all, that don't perform your duty at all. He says no, that would be wrong. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. Now children, in this sentence, the word truck does not mean the vehicle truck. It means association or connection. So Neruda says that I am only asking you to stop your negative activities because life is what it is about, and I want no truck with death. I want mankind to stop all those negative, harmful activities which is inching him closer to death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, says Pablo Neruda, that if mankind's single mission or only mission is to achieve his goal, what after that? Asks the poet, that why are we always so determined about moving forward? Why is it that we cannot for once admire, just leave sight of our goal and admire life, appreciate life for what it is? Because by setting unrealistic goals for ourselves, what are we doing? We are wasting our energies. We are not appreciating the creation of God, which is important. We are not appreciating our own selves, which is important. We are day and night involved in a futile activity. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. So the poet is saying that if we were not so single-minded about moving ahead, then definitely a huge silence here is also positive here, would interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves. Mankind is often, you can hear these cases of depression, stress, and in some extreme cases, sadly, suicides. Why are they happening? Because man does not understand his own self. So the sadness of not understanding one's own self can be interrupted by a huge positive silence if we could do nothing, and of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. We would stop all those activities by which we are threatening ourselves with death. And then the poet gives a beautiful example of earth. Earth is a positive and beautiful aspect of nature. Perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Here the poet is alluding to the winter season, where the earth is covered with a blanket of snow, and there is no new life. Plants, trees, everything withers, animals go into hibernation, and it almost looks like the earth is dead. But after winter, the season of spring comes and life grows with renewed vigor. Similarly, says Pablo Neruda, mankind also needs to be covered by a blanket of snow. What does that mean? We cannot literally cover ourselves with snow. What is the meaning of it? What is the metaphorical meaning? That we need to go into a mode of introspection and go into a mode of silence. and later proves to be alive. So after teaching us this beautiful lesson, the poet ends the poem with the last two lines. Now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. Look at the last three words, I will go. Why does the poet say I will go? Because the poet's task is over. What is the poet's task? Of inducing mankind into a state of meditation and making us change our outlook towards life and making us understand the importance of life. Therefore, the poet says, now counting up to 12 is again, we have started where we have stopped. The poem began also with the line, now we will count to 12 and look at the last line of the poem. Now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. So after inducing a state of meditation, the poet's mission is accomplished and he is addressing all humanity once again and taking his leave.